Welcome to another episode of Think Like a Brand. In this episode, we have a very special guest and very special friend, Ellie Hudson. Ellie and I met 2 years ago in a mastermind and we had no idea who each other were. Ellie was living in Australia at that time and you had your agency Palm Socials, and then since then your life has just absolutely exploded. So thanks for coming. And do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you for having me. So I am a content and marketing strategist. I have 2 businesses, so we help all of our clients in 2 different containers. We've got the done for you side where we do Instagram management, and then I've also got the coaching side of the business too, where we have the mastermind mainly and one-on-one coaching, so I can do it with people as well, so I can facilitate that on both sides. I just love it. It's just so good.
And that's incredible because 2 years ago, what did you have? Just Palm Socials, which is what was that done for you, or was that done like mentoring? Which one was it?
Yeah, so that was done for you. So that was solely Instagram management. I think at that time I had like one team member who was like doing the reels for me.
And now what are you up to?
I've got 5 girls on the team now.
Oh my god, that's insane. That is incredible.
Yeah.
Should we start with that? Actually, let's go back to you're in Australia. You didn't like it anymore. You came back home.
Yeah, okay, so the story was I started my business in 2021 and it was just before COVID hit actually, which is like probably the same for the majority of people. And I started my business. My journey is so funny actually. I used to sign up to these webinars. I don't know if anybody else did this, but I used to sign up to like every webinar because I was like traveling at the time and I was like, I want that laptop lifestyle. Yeah. So I used to sign up to these webinars and I joined loads of them. They all ended up being like selling jacuzzis or like, you know, just like stupid stuff like drop shipping, blah blah blah. I used to get on so many calls thinking like, no, like sit there with my notepad and book in these calls with people from like America who were just literally just trying to get my money, God love me. And I remember one morning I'd just woken up in my apartment in Bondi and I needed to get up and I was just looking out my window and like I'm just going to set the scene here for you guys. I was looking out my window and I could see the sun rising over the city. It was orange skies and I was just like, but I was waking up full of dread because I was like, I have to go to work. And loads of my other friends, they worked like in the city, whereas I worked on the outer city because it was a better paying job. And I was just like, everyone's going to the beach or they're doing like part-time jobs, whereas I was in a full-time management role in a retirement village. And I was just like, no, there's got to be like, I didn't move to the other side of the world to do this. I was supposed to.
Did you know though? Did you have like a tiny feeling within you that something was about to happen? Like.
No,
oh.
Absolutely not. None whatsoever. I just thought, well, anyway, where I was going with that was then this one thing. It's obviously like a sponsored post on. Maybe it was Facebook. Oh my god, I don't know if anybody else did this, but I used to scroll for hours on comments on Facebook. Yeah. Like I was just hooked. It's so bad, such a waste of time. So I found this one and it came up, said travel anywhere with your laptop, and on this webinar it was going to be 3 ideas for working with your laptop from anywhere. So I was like, go on then, this will be the last one. I'm just going to stop wasting my time after this. So signed up to it. It was starting in like 10 minutes. So I rushed down, got on the train to go out the city, and I was sat there. The 3 ideas was be a virtual assistant, a social media manager, and a graphic designer. And I was like, oh god, I can't do any of them, but I could be a virtual assistant because I could do admin. By the end of that day, I'd spent no time doing work. I'd like looked at every other virtual assistant out there possible. I'd done all the research and I'd paid for a 6-week course. And then by the end of the 6 weeks, I was fully booked and left my full-time job.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and that was because I'd promoted myself on Instagram, like literally howling, laughing the other day, scrolling down, looking at all my videos, like
the pointy ones. I've got all them.
It makes me feel physically sick. But I just think like we are where we are today because we had to go through that. Yeah. And I coach a lot of people now about growing on social media and why they're not growing. And I was like, 1, it was easier back then. From COVID, no one was doing anything, and 2, we had to go through all of that horrific stuff Like, if anybody wants to laugh, like, feel
We
free.
should actually
Get
put that
yourself-
together and have that as just a laugh over Christmas.
Oh
Ellie
my
and
god,
Remy
yeah.
version.
yeah. I've got one from Harry Potter. It's like, what does he? It's like Snape, and I'm like ticking off the list. I used to have props. I used to get headaches because I'd have that many to batch.
So
It was
cringy.
So
Like, I actually went through the other day and I was with my mum. And she was like, "Did you used to actually post this?" I was like, "Yeah, I did." And it was horrendous.
Yeah, guess what?
And
I've got clients.
Yeah. So since then, who have you had to become to really lean into like having 5 team members, having an agency, being a coach, holding it all, whilst not losing your absolute mind?
Yeah, I think that a big turning point for me was when I realised that I didn't actually want to be a virtual assistant anymore. And
Were you still in Australia at this time?
yeah. So the story of where Palm Socials came from was I used to go for morning walks every morning, and I used to listen to podcasts, which is now why I just absolutely love podcasts. And I knew I didn't want to be a virtual assistant anymore, but my name at the time was Virtually All For You.
Oh.
So it didn't align with, because all I was doing was marketing for people. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh, well, I need to change it and be a social media manager, but my name didn't align. So I was walking down to the beach and I was like, no, I need a different name. And I always wanted something that would be a brand mark or something that people would look at and they would think of me. And I just love palm trees. That's as simple as it is. And I was walking down to the beach. I used to cross them every day, and I thought, I'm not going to live here forever. So what could remind me of like my amazing time here? And I was like, Palm Socials. And I was walking down looking at all the palm trees, and I was like, that's it, Palm Socials done. I'd paid for all of my branding to be done and had a palm tree as my brand mark with Virtually All For You. I still got it all. And then literally like a week later I was like, I'm so sorry, I know I've signed it all off, but can you change it to be exactly the same but just with the word in Palm Socials? Oh god, and then everything changed.
Really? So when you saw that?
So as soon as I had my branding, it was like I'd stepped into something different. It's like I had a purpose. I had this.
You saw
like,
it come to life.
Yeah, everything came to life. I hadn't just started a business on the whim of hoping that I could get a bit of spare time money. Like, this was my full-time job now as a business owner, and I have a brand.
Yeah.
And I felt like it just like birthed me.
I remember that, seeing photos of you on like a kitchen counter or something, like really cool photos.
Yeah, that was my first brand
Yeah, I
shoot.
remember that.
So that was obviously then I had the branding. I was like, no, I still need something else. Like, something's missing. I need to pull this whole thing together. And then I was like, I'll have a brand shoot, because then I'll have all
I love those
things,
photos. I love them. They're good.
to remind me of like my time in like Oz. So I had those, and looking back on them now, like, they're still my favourite photos.
Yeah.
Probably because I've got like long, luscious, gorgeous hair, and now it's all falling out. Yeah, and I think they were so wholesome and cute vibes, cozy, which isn't me anymore. So I still want to use them, but then I look at them, I'm like, that's not a representation.
And do you know what?
Of me.
It's like
It
you
makes me
give
laugh.
so much love to that version of you. Like I think the first brand you ever had, like a professional one, I look back now, I can think of one picture I'm thinking of, and it's kind of, oh, she was so cute. Like, I thank her so much for getting me to this point, because the things that she had to go through, and she had no idea what she was doing, and she just looked like so professional, and like here she is today. And I think that having that's why I say to anyone, just have your first brand shoot, because it does like wonders for you to see that.
But it also makes you learn what you don't like. Oh my god, that the vibe that I thought was me
how
is
different.
not me.
Yeah, same.
Like, we also do brand shoots for clients in studios or like wherever they want to have them, to help them like market their business as well. And obviously it helps us with social media management, because if our clients have good content, then obviously we can make better content. And we recently did, well, it wasn't recent actually, but anyway, we did a photo shoot, and it was for my EA, Nina, and I look, and this was her first one as well, and I look back on those photos now and I just think, that is so not you.
Yeah, it's so
and that was only this year.
And it's funny though,
I can't remember when.
that's why I love the branding point, because you have this idea of how you want your brand to look based on how you think it should look. But then when you see it
what
back,
other people's looks like, because you're like, I like that picture.
yeah, she looks cool.
She looks cool,
Yeah.
like, and that's it. And it's like, it's like the disco ball.
I literally was to say that, but I didn't know when to say it. Sorry, I've got disco balls.
Yeah, sorry if you have disco
Sorry,
balls.
not sorry.
I actually love them. I want them.
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah.
now I'm like,
if it's not you, then yeah.
Yeah, like, don't get me wrong, I love a disco. I'll stay up all night dancing. But you know, I think you like the way that they've used it within their branding, but that doesn't really reflect. Like, I don't even use a disco ball emoji. So
people almost want to copy someone's brand. It's because they want to almost copy their personality, because they've seen them having success, so they want that same success. So they think they have to be that person to get that same success. But like, what success looks like for them is not how it. Like, you might get that success, but you'll hate it.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel like when I first, so obviously I had my first photo shoot and that was like just around the time when B-roll was becoming the thing.
Yeah.
And then when I came home, I was like, okay, there's no more, let's just B-roll. And it was all just like Australia stuff, like, you know, palm trees and some, like, but I'd been at home and I was like, I need to bring some more of like my personality through with being at home now, like I live at home. And then I was like, right, I'm gonna hire a studio, and I got a girl to take mine. I'm just trying to think when it was, but I can't remember. And it was like I knew that I was launching the mini mind, the breakthrough mini mind, and I was like, my coaching side to things, and I was like, I needed some celebratory. I don't know how to say it, celebratory, whatever. Like footage of me, so that when my clients have wins or anything like that, like it's like bougie. I wanted champagne in like glasses and set like whatever. So then whenever I got these screenshots and stuff, that would always be the background. So I had this whole vision in my head, and specifically just went for those things. And afterwards, I was like, I loved them, and they were so like the new version of the brand, which was a bit more like high level but still fun. Like I never wanted the ones where I was like looking like I've got such a resting bitch face anyway. I'm really moody.
Do you actually?
Yeah, no, really bad. Like I was recording my podcast episodes the other day, and I was like editing all of the clips, and I was just looking at myself, and I was like, you've got to be kidding. You look like you don't want to be there. You look so unhappy and so pissed off. I was just like,
it's really like your concentration face.
I think when I talk about something that I'm so passionate about, straight away like my face drops and I'm like serious now, because I'm such a jokey person.
Yeah.
I think
that's what makes you though.
What, the jokey person?
Like both of it.
Yeah.
Like the duality between the serious, like get shit done. Yeah. I saw that in Ibiza.
Yeah.
That's what I loved. Because it's like you can like be like get shit done, put you in your place in a great way, but also like let me just take the piss out of you. But I think your brand matches that quite well.
Good, I like that. Because that was where the colour pops came in. So not long after that, I was like, my brand is too vanilla. It was like beige.
It was beige, I remember that, yeah.
And so beige. It was just like a beige flag. And I was like, right, I need a pop, because and when I think about these things, when it comes to like my personal branding, I was like, I'm fun, I'm sarcastic, I swear a lot, I make a joke out of everything. My brand doesn't, and those brand shoots, those pictures don't reflect me at all.
Was you in a suit?
No, it was like a cute. I've still got that. It's like a. It was a shirt, two-piece.
Yeah, I remember it.
Yeah, and you know what? I actually bought that gorgeous knit dress. It was like one-shouldered one. Absolutely loved it. I was like, I'll definitely wear this again. Like, someone will have a christening. No one has ever had a christening, and I've never worn it again.
And you're having a christening,
invite me. So, yeah, I was like, I needed something more fun. So I was like, something fun, and it just came to me. I was like, these two colour pops, and then when I added that in, I was like, oh my god, and then emojis, and then it was like, that was like where my brand was never really designed. It was like I've always added to it based on my personality as I developed, as I grew with the coaching side of things, because I knew who my ideal clients were and what they would be looking at versus Palm Socials as the agency, and there's two completely different clients there for each.
So each of them have got their own like very different brand.
Yeah. Well, no.
But then
no,
I like
no,
how you do weave them.
They're like under an umbrella company, let's say. And so basically, Palm Socials has all the beige tones, and then Ellie Hudson has the two pops of colour.
And it's fun because it makes up your personality, like you said.
Yeah, and like all of the emojis, and they're just, one's a bit more like elegant, and one's a bit more just fun and do whatever. Yeah, and it is me. So yeah, that was where that came from, and then I had the oh my god, no. Then another thing where I do think my brand really like stood out was definitely before everybody else started jumping on the studio hype, of getting the same pictures with the everything on the floor and stuff. Was I knew I was going to run. That was the year of launching for me. Oh my gosh, I did so many launches.
What was it? What, 2022?
Last year.
4? No, we were in
what
4.
Date? Yeah, I have no idea what day it is, to be honest.
2023.
Yeah, I launched so many times, which is amazing because you've got to launch that many times to know how to do it. But I was like, I'm going to do a Black Friday sale, a birthday flash sale, this or that. I launched loads of different things, and I'd say now my team and I have like the launch process down to a T.
So
it's like I've got a playbook of launch strategies, and now my team will come to me and say like, what do you want to do for this launch? Do you want to do this one or this one? And I'm a generator, so I work better from choice. So I'll be like, I want to do this one. Don't ask me what I'm doing, because my head will go in 10 million different ways.
Oh my God, I love that.
And like all these different ways. Whereas if you give me a choice A or B, I'll know exactly which one I want to do.
That's incredible. I want to touch on that, but I also want to finish your story.
Yeah.
What were you about to say that you jumped on first from launching?
For my birthday flash sale, I planned this whole 3 different. It was a different offer on a different day, and each day they would time out just 24 hours. So, and each offer got bigger and better each day. And I was like, I want a sparkly dress. I want green, pink, green, pink and purple cake. I want whatever else.
I'm going to remember the shoe because I was like, wow.
Yeah.
There's
balloons. Yes. And it was like, I want one specific photo where I'm like bending down with the cake, blowing out the candles. And like I tried so many different shots with that. I tried to be like, I can't remember, like pouty or whatever, and it was like, that's not me. I have to be laughing, I have to be doing something. And then another one was there was a mattress on there, and I was like, oh my god, I'll just get the mattress out. We pulled the mattress over to the other side of the bed, over the other side of the room, and we put all the balloons everywhere, and I lay down on it, and yeah, I can't even remember what that pose was. So we did that many, and then at the end I was like, I still need something funner. So then, oh my god, it was so funny. I bought these like confetti cannons, and they just wouldn't pop. So we had to pop them, and then Nina, she was stood on a ladder. She had them in a like a scoopy thing, like dustpan and brush thing.
Yeah.
And Laura would go, and then she'd throw them on them, and then like loads of shots.
I mean, it looked good because
eventually
really
it was just funny. And yeah, I remember then that was like, oh, I know how to do this now, and I know how to bring more fun. Yeah, I just saw it myself, and afterwards I was just like, oh, I'm so proud.
And I think it's probably because you were laughing about that whole situation, like your personality was like out in all the photos.
Yeah. And then after that, I'd say then it was like, because I like to do a photo shoot so I'm in my sales planner. The sales planner.
The sales planner. Sales planner is the like godsend.
Yeah, it's like you think, oh, sales planner, business. I don't know, it's marketing, like literally.
That's what I generally thought though before you showed me it. I was like, I don't need a sales planner.
Yeah.
Or was I wrong?
Yeah,
I
wrong.
need a sales planner.
And I was like, oh, I know. So now I look at that and I'm like, do I need to, create a new brand identity for this? And everything that I do has its own little gorgeous vibe to it. And I had so much fun this summer where I created the summer business board, which was all random different colours. This goes against the grain of like whatever I say, everything has to be on brand. But I was like, I don't want it to be on brand.
Yeah,
I want it to have its own little identity. I had to do all the pinks and greens.
But that's what I think
yellows.
It's nice because like you disrupted everything that you've done, so people would pay attention to it.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yeah, that was really fun. So yeah, I love to create a brand identity and I think that's what builds my personal brand because everything's different and I just want to have fun with it.
And that's what like it's funny because you're in such a transition in your life right now of like moving and everything that you're very good at like bringing people on that journey.
Yeah, I think that storytelling is key.
Like the chickens make up your personal brand now.
Oh my, do you know what, right, guys?
And George.
Well, oh, George, God love him. Oh, it just makes me laugh so much. And it's just like everybody just knows George now.
I know, it's funny,
but
isn't
his
it?
personality is that big, he can't not have a space
Yeah,
there. He
and
is like,
George is her dog, by the way.
yeah, he's a brown lab. But yeah, he just, oh God, he makes me laugh so much. But he's literally there with me every day working
and
now, isn't
that
he? So
picture of you looking into the abyss or something the other day,
oh my God.
I was going to comment
so
back and laugh.
guys, like, this is just, I've just moved house, as you can all imagine, and you know, it's like, it is one of the most stressful things in the world. And I woke up that morning early, might I add, very early, because it was for a new hairdresser.
Oh my God.
And I'd ordered some extensions because my hair is literally falling out. So I was like, gonna have some extensions, like everything for like my birthday, for Christmas, feel nice after this horrendous like month and a half that I've had moving. Woke up early, was looking around everywhere for my keys. 56 minutes, I still couldn't find them, and I literally had to say, like, I'm so sorry. Like I let her know when I couldn't find the keys as well. And I was on the floor like basically having a mensy bee, and found them underneath a cabinet in the shadow. I never would have found them if I wasn't genuinely on the floor.
How'd they get there?
Well,
George?
they must have like, yeah, George didn't want me to go. And yeah, like they were just under the cabinet, and yeah, I was just literally like the other day, I was just like staring out. You know when dogs just look out the window and they're just like, what's going on? I just thought, do you know what, I'll give this a crack. Didn't
Did it
work.
feel good?
No, well, do you know what, it did feel good, but then I thought,
did you still get your hair done or not?
No, I missed my appointment, and I'm not going to be able to get my hair done until next year.
Maybe it's just a sign.
It was obviously a sign that there was going to be traffic that day and that something else, so it's fine. But yeah, George, the chickens, I have chickens as well. So, but now I'm like literally at the point where I'm like a full-blown country girl.
That's what I was literally about to say.
I
like,
might change my branding.
You are going into country girl, like the views, the chickens, the chicken sheds, like that whole. It was you, wasn't it, that put like the vision of the chicken shed up?
Yeah.
And you were like this whole house.
Yeah, but I wanted to
I
be
was
like
I would live there with the chickens.
Yeah, literally. It was so extra.
Yeah, but I love that. And it's like all of that, because you have done a good job of like bringing people on this journey as you've moved, people now will start to recognise you to become this like country girl.
Yeah, like maybe this is the next evolution of the brand.
And I think that's what's fun though, is
but
that
I think you have to bring it along with where you're at in your life. Palm Socials was birthed in Australia, and like that can always be of that time, whereas Ellie Hudson has been like essentially this version of me has been birthed in UK, and like now I'm like on a completely different journey.
And I feel like I don't know if you feel like this, I feel like I'm just analysing your life from afar, from the abyss.
Yeah.
And I feel like the last year for you have just like, or year and a half, you've just gone from like strength to strength to strength.
Oh.
No, I do not feel like that. Maybe it's because I always say this to people, it's like when you like have known someone for a while, like seeing you in Ibiza. Actually, let's come back. I want to talk about what has had to go into having a team of 5, running a retreat in Ibiza. I bet you're like pretty much booked out on a lot of your books.
Yeah.
Like moving, everything. How do you hold it all?
I feel like I've always been one for systems, structure, and creating things that are very repeatable. So in my agency, like everything runs the same for every client. There's strict like onboarding processes and everything like that. So it gets to be very rinse and repeatable. And that was one thing that like I knew that I would nail, you know, from the start, because I am quite an organised person. Yeah. So whenever it comes to like within the team as well, we always have like quarterly reviews. So I know what my team are enjoying and what they're not enjoying. If they're not enjoying doing a task, they won't do it to their full, like to what the standard needs to be. So whenever someone says they don't enjoy doing something, I'll just hire somebody else and they can then start doing that. So
but that skill is incredible that you can like move like this. I saw that in Ibiza. Do you remember I asked you that one night and you were sitting working like a little crazy woman and I was looking at you and I was like, how do you not get overwhelmed or something? And you said to me, if I don't do it, I get overwhelmed and then I've got to deal with like the overwhelm or something like that. And I was like,
yeah, that makes sense.
That makes so much sense. But it is, I feel like you're very good at just getting on with it. rather than letting the overwhelm get to you.
Yeah, and I think as well, one thing for me is that I've always been very good at delegating.
Yeah.
So it's not, and you know, sometimes I can micromanage. Like all my team will be like, "You do micromanage," but at the same time, it has to be like micromanage and everything takes so long, or put faith and trust in the team. But also the reason why I can put so much faith and trust in the team is because I know what I like and don't like. So whenever I give a task to somebody, I will have already recorded a loom video. There will already be a stop on it. There will already be step-by-step instructions.
If you didn't do that and you gave it straight to someone, do you think that they would never give you the same results back?
Well, my team would now because they know what I like.
Or like a new team member?
If I didn't give a new team member... Well, some people have initiative and some people don't. Like, for example, we do manage that, like, you know, management for our clients, and they don't know what they like and don't like. So we use our initiative and look at their brand and look at how they've done reels before to guess how they like it, and you know they do usually like it. Whereas I'm very particular with my branding and I'm very fussy. You know, like it's pill-shaped buttons, not that. I don't like that font, but I like that font. But you can use that font, but only when it's as a call to action. And this could be that font can only be used in uppercase.
But that's also so good that your team. Okay, question on that. How do you get your team to remember that then so well?
So I give it whenever I give feedback to any of my clients, I give specific instructions to begin with, where I'll say use this font, use that font, use this colour if you use in the call to actions, and that will be like the instruction. So the instructions are very clear and specific to begin with. But then if they provide me with something that wasn't really along or halfway there, I will then record a video to explain why I don't like it, where they missed the mark, and what they can do to change it. So then every time I'm giving feedback on something, there's a recorded video, and that will then go into my SOPs. So that if I'm ever like, oh, if you don't know how to create things that I like or do whatever, there's like a whole playbook of things that I like and don't
so
like.
Good.
So it's just like always having that feedback as well. Visual feedback is so important for team members. I personally love having like that visual feedback.
But I think that's why your agency is probably growing at the rate it's growing, because you've got that structure. Like if you didn't have that, you would be the headless chicken running around your little place.
Yeah, I would be living in the chickens.
Yeah, and that's what I feel like. It's very organised, and that's what I saw in Ibiza, like how organised everything was. Like everything had its own place. Everyone almost knew, like Laura knew exactly what she was doing and when she was doing it. And
yeah, like before the retreat, for example, I wrote a whole itinerary, but for a team itinerary. So at this point, I'll be closing out on this slide. That's when I want you to take a photo.
See, that is so good.
Or it's
most
like,
people would
I
do
want
that.
these angles, I want those angles. So it's like constantly taking the time. I would have, had a lot more time if I didn't do all of that. However, how annoying or disappointed would I feel in Laura if she hadn't got the shots that I'd have wanted her to get and the retreat was over.
And that's why
I'd have been like, oh my god, I'd have been annoyed at Laura, when really it's not Laura's fault. It would have been my fault.
And what do you then say to people who are hiring at the moment and scaling their business, and they're bringing on team members, and they're blaming them for doing wrong, but actually you haven't given them clear instructions?
I think you can only lead a team as good as yourself. So if you can't lead your if you can't even lead yourself to make the stops, give clear instructions, and you don't know what you like and what you don't like, then how can you team member? So
true.
Like they just can't.
So get the clarity on what you like, what you don't like, put that into like a SOP.
Yeah, like even just as far as saying, I don't like pill-shaped buttons, or like a squoval. You know, like those things.
What's a squoval?
You know, like it's a square but like round edges.
Oh, is that
squoval? Yeah, that's how I get my nails.
Oh my god, I didn't know that word.
Yeah. So there's so many different things, that. Like tiny little things that you think is not important, like
that's so good though that you. That's why everything looks so good, because they know what to do. Yeah. And then when it comes back down to then,
or for example, this is a really good one. One of my newer team members, Lauren, she's amazing. She created like a carousel for one of our newer clients, and Laura usually does all of the like Canva stuff. But I was like, let's pass some over because Laura can't take it all on. So she did a carousel and it was mint. However, I was like,
there was no squabbles.
It's not Palm Socials. It's not. It's not what I would do. So there was things that were centre aligned, but I'm all about like design psychology. So yes, it has to look good, but it also has to read well because what I do is for coaches. So we don't care about the graphics. Anyone can create a pretty graphic. The information in there has to be readable.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I don't have the time to give her that feedback. But Laura knows what I like and don't like.
You're delegating.
So then I put a task into Laura's Asana, put it into her diary, and said, "Could you give feedback on this for Palm Socials? Like to just make Palm Socialify it."
And that's so good.
Then
though,
Laura could do that because she knows what I like and what I don't like. So it's like I almost delegated.
I think you're very good at that though, like giving off trust, like how you trust Nina, how you trust Laura, how you trust everyone. Like you're very good at.
Very trusting.
I think that's so good. That's something I learned from you a lot in Ibiza.
Yeah, I do think that
I wanted
to
to
be
control
a CEO,
everything too much.
Yeah, to be a CEO, you have to let go and know that. And if they make a mistake, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like it's literally fine. All you have to do is give feedback.
So true. And it's
they'll
the
be like,
feedback,
oh,
like you said.
Yeah, like they'll be like, oh my god, yeah, I wouldn't even ever thought.
And it's
to have
up
done
to
it
like
that.
me or you or whoever's actually hiring the team to actually give them the feedback, like you said.
Yeah.
Then when it comes to launching, and actually 2 questions, I'll go for the first one. Instagram stories are your like home, close friends are your babies.
Baby, yeah.
And
if you
tell
are
us
my close friends,
about.
I
I'm
like
one of your close friends.
You are on my close friends.
You told me to do a close friends list, and I love it. I have to
do
say.
it. If anybody wants to join Remy's close friends list, DM her with the word friends. She'll add you.
And tell us about your launch on your close friends list. How did it go?
So last year, which would have been 2023, because we're recording that now, it's in 2024. I did a pre-sale strategy just on close friends, and we resulted in a 26k pre-launch, and it was just on close friends.
Okay, let's talk about strategy of that. Let's get our strategy hats on.
Yeah, okay.
What went into that?
So I don't know.
That's
I just
incredible.
thought I just needed to create a different strategy. Like with my energy as well. Like I really felt like I am so good at selling behind the scenes. I'm also very good at selling on scenes as well. But there's something about pre-selling and like getting people just talking. I just love it. And I was like, how can I make this different to what everybody else is doing? So I was like, Black Friday's coming up around the corner. How can I like jump on this when the mini mine wasn't even starting until February? So I was like, what can I do to make it different?
And on that, sorry, the fact that you are very good at delegating shows that you've obviously now got the time to think like this, which makes you're able to run 2 businesses.
3 actually. I've just started another agency.
Is it about chickens? Is it how to do with chickens? No, joke. Okay, hang on. Should we go? Okay, I don't want to go off too many topics.
No, yeah, I know.
3?
Sorry, but yeah, 3 businesses.
What's that agency?
It's another agency. But it's going to be for a different. It's like a completely different niche. So it's just
fun.
Yeah. It's called Money Shot Media. The
I
branding
love
is unreal.
Oh my god, I love that.
I
Same
know.
in social media or different?
Yeah, same, but for different industries.
Oh,
so like,
clever.
but I don't want to like advertise that type of work on Palm Socials because I feel like Palm Socials is very like female
That's
driven
so
and led,
clever.
whereas Money Shot Media is probably going to be more men.
I love
Yeah.
the name. Love the name.
Money Shot Media.
Oh my god,
Cool.
so 3 agencies.
Yeah.
The fact that you could handle 3 agencies
Yeah, crazy.
and the
and
house,
chickens,
yeah, and
dogs,
the dog
and
and
the house.
everything, but still have the time to put your like creative hat on, just shows how important it actually is to delegate. Because that's why I think, I don't know if you even see this, but I see this in you. Like you're holding so much, but you're just in Ibiza. You're so chilled. Like you're just chilled. Like most people have a breakdown, but you've managed to, because you're very good at delegating and like letting that go. But coming back to what you just said there, like allowing your brain to think, okay, what is everyone doing right now, and how can I do it differently?
Yeah, I think as well, one of the main things is like freedom. If I don't delegate, I have to do it all myself. I don't want to work 90 hours a week.
And you had this whole summer off, right?
Yeah.
See, that's what I mean. And did anything like go wrong?
No.
It's because you've managed it all and you've like dealt with it all, planned it all.
Yeah,
So
and
you
like,
can
I'll
give
always
yourself that
have
life.
the summer off, and I'll always have 2 weeks off at Christmas.
And then they fully off. You're good at that, aren't you? You're good at your boundaries.
Yeah, I can switch off. Like already, all of my clients have had Loom videos with what's going on, messages to say when I'm off, when I'll be back, what they can expect, when calls have been rearranged.
Organised. That's what I mean. And your summer looked incredible.
Yeah.
So coming back to your launch on your
Yes,
close
sorry,
friends.
I keep kicking at me.
Oh no, I was just
So-
saying how good it is to have the time to become creative.
Yeah, so that you be able to you can put your strategy hat on then. And yeah, so I was like, how can I do it different? Black Friday was around the corner, and I was like, right. And this is like the deeper strategy, but it's like an offer strategy. That this is the sales strategy, more than a marketing really. And I was like, right, I'm gonna include my breakthrough mini mind in my Black Friday strategy, and I'll give unreal bonuses to make people jump in early, knowing full well that it doesn't start till February. Like usually you wouldn't really get people, like probably wouldn't join something 3 months before it starts because you probably changed your mind. So what I did was I was like, right, so it's November now. I will only launch this to my close friends, an email list. So for 3 weeks before it was Black Friday, I was teasing that I was creating something amazing, something new was coming. And bear in mind, actually, thinking about it, I actually used this strategy before for another launch and pre-sold 8 spots.
Wow.
So that was unreal as well. So I knew it worked, and nobody else had like cottoned on to that sort of strategy yet. So yeah, I invited people to the close friends for about 3 weeks beforehand, teased loads, like shared loads, and then on that Black Friday, I just dropped everything about it, what it was included, very analytical style for the buyer types, to just give everybody the information. Just said, if you want the pre-sale price of the Black Friday off, you can also get and jump in on an extended payment plan. So I did an 8-month extended payment plan, so it accounted for the 3 months where they wouldn't have been paying for it. So it incentivizes people to jump in early so that they can get a lower payment and extend it over. And I was like, that's not enough. What else can I do to get people in? I gave them access to my Black Friday sales planning workshop, which I was already hosting anyway, so it made more sense for me to invite more people to it because I was doing it regardless. I gave everybody a bonus one-on-one call with me in the December so that I could give them action steps on things that they needed to do before the new year came. So that made them feel like they were getting some sort of support for December to set them into the new year. And then in the January, I gave them access to my sales planning workshop for the year, which I was doing regardless, so they got access to it too.
So it wasn't like more work for you, but
No.
it's still for them it was more value.
And that's what I always say to people about bonuses or anything like that. It needs to be something that you've already got or you're already doing. Otherwise you're giving yourself more work.
I've made that mistake before.
Yeah, the only thing that was hard work was like the extra. There was quite a lot of calls then in December, which is like quite a busy time anyway. But like so that's what I did, and then I pretty much I got 8 people, I think, just from the close friends strategy.
And was you doing 3 weeks of
more
warm-up?
inquiries than that as well when you think about it?
It's
so many
good.
leads. And also everybody that you get to join your close friends is a warm lead. Why would they want to be there otherwise?
And that's what I was going to say, like coming back down to that, how do you get people into your close friends?
So just a teaser really, just whatever it is that you want. So you can. I only really invite people if I know something's coming up. So for example, for my podcast launch, let's say, I knew that I was launching that in December, and I said to people, like, I'm working on something new, I'm going to drop the details. Close friends, like, it's for me, my close friends are my VIPs, they get access to everything earlier. So that's what I say to people, like, if you want early access or you want me to spill the beans earlier, just click the button and I'll add you to my close friends. I go on there, sometimes I'll do trainings. This is a good way to be like, I'm going to do a quick 3-day training on each day is going to be on a different topic, but I'm only hosting it on my close friends. Tap the sticker if you want to be added, and then you can add people over there. So you need to have like a long-term strategy to get people in there so you're not always selling to them. But just anything that can feed them
I like it though because it's different. I remember asking you this before.
It's
like,
low maintenance.
Yeah.
You can do it from anywhere.
That's what I like because I had the
And you still
Telegram
capture the
group.
lead.
Yeah. And I was like, actually, it makes more sense because people have got to go off the app that they're on every day to go to Telegram. When that's just an extra step where they might as well just.
And
sorry, carry on.
and they get the green circle and it gets pushed to the front.
Clever. And for the 3 weeks leading up to this launch, were you just like teasing, giving the value?
Behind the scenes. Going to be going on close friends. Going to be like everything's going on close friends. Just direct them people there.
I love that, and it's good now that when you go for a launch, do you always start off with your close friends as well?
Yeah.
So you rinse and repeat that same strategy.
And
you know
every
works.
Black Friday, they get a different offer that Instagram doesn't see.
Clever.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, what is a trend you're seeing a lot at the moment with launching? Like what's working, what's not? Or is it not?
People, so like your traditional, people are aware now of what a masterclass leads into. So less and less people are signing up to them.
So true.
Because we all know we're going to get pitched to at the end.
Yeah.
Which is fine because that's how the online space works. And I think that if people are joining masterclasses these days, they're either very new or they're an actual lead.
So
now,
true.
One of the strategies that I'm bringing into play in 2025 is 2 lead magnets every quarter, 1 paid, 1 free. So even though it's a lead magnet, it was a low ticket offer really, but I would expect not to be pitched on a paid masterclass. However, that doesn't mean that I can't invite them to
but it's not like
see my office.
Yeah.
I will explain what I do and how I help people and in what containers and how they can work with me. But it's just an invitation.
So it's like a subtle sell.
This is how you can work with me if you like what you saw.
Yeah.
I wouldn't then pitch to them about this offer or anything. But I do think that everybody wants to go evergreen. Everybody wants to do, that, and it does work. But you're selling every day. You have to get people in if that's your main offer.
So true.
So, yeah, I think that every business owner, especially like if that's what warrants, for example, for like an agency, we don't ever need to launch. What we're launching, you're not launching a new offer.
Yeah,
boring.
It's so true. How do you launch your agency offers? Do you just always just word of mouth?
I literally have 3 core offers, and then everything else I sell behind the scenes.
So it's like inquiries, and then you send them.
Yeah. Or like, can you do this? Or I'm thinking about doing that. Or basically, I always include in my containers is like, obviously I can't help it, like the marketing, planning, sales, everything, the strategies. I'm like, so I include that in all of my. That's what makes the agency different. Like I'm your marketing strategist. I'm not your social media manager.
So true. People need that.
They do need that. They need guidance.
They do need that. Yeah.
So whenever it comes, we have quarterly sales calls, and I'm like, right, what are we doing to bring in leads this month? And then it's like, right, well, we can do that for you. So then we'll design all the lead magnets for them, the slide design, the many chat funnels, like anything like that.
So they get 2 in 1.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Well, they get me in the back pocket.
Yeah.
Not.
No, it's true.
I can't speak. Not to say that,
you're like hand holding them.
Yeah.
But they've got
and also like the team are there for them.
Yeah.
And like I always step in when there's launches or anything hardcore selling. Like I'm doing that for them.
And I think that's good though, that you know when to step in and you know when to delegate, and you trust that who you're going to delegate to, your client's still going to get the results. What would you say then? Because I agree that a lot less people are signing up because they're almost overwhelmed with how much they've already purchased in the last couple of years. They've all told themselves, I'm not going to invest because I need to get through what I've got to get through. And I keep seeing them people...
Well, I've not made the return on investment.
Yeah, so then there's like this block of they don't want to sign up because they know they're going to get sold to, but then they want to like lean in more. And this is why I do think like masterminds, group programs are definitely on the rise, more than like ever. But what would you say to people who want to get more leads in, but they're faced with these same objections of, I've been burnt or I've already purchase something, I need to go through it first? Like, how do you
know what though, with those types of people who say like, I want to get more leads in, I bet any money that they aren't doing a quarterly, monthly, fortnightly free resource. They haven't got a low ticket offer, they haven't got an entry level offer, they don't post on their stories, they don't have any form of strategies. So when they're saying that they've been burned, which we've all been burned through coaches and through things that we purchased, like it just, unfortunately, that is almost where you learn and you make lessons from. But if you haven't got any of those things that I've just mentioned, then you're not trying to get leads. If you're not doing any money generating activities, like posting every day, going on your stories every day, doing another form of strategy, power hours, entry level offers and low ticket offers or lead magnets, then you're not
Yeah, so
to get
if you
leads.
think you've not got loads of leads, it's because you're not doing anything to get leads. You think
Yeah,
you're
you
just
just
like
think, oh,
posting
pity
content.
party.
Yes,
Yeah,
love that.
I post content and I get no leads.
That's so true.
Right, so what's your story strategy? Well, I haven't really got one.
Yeah, so these people need story strategies, like lead generation, like freebies, something in terms of how you're getting leads at different offers,
Yeah.
showing up and selling, getting visible.
Yeah, run a flash sale.
And doing it over and over.
Yeah, like a flash sale is still a launch.
I literally love that. It doesn't have to be like a typical launch. There's different ways to launch.
Yeah, and like I always say as well, like I'm just very practical. Like I don't think, and I'm not masculine in any way in that approach. I just think like usually those people who are saying that they're not getting any leads and stuff, like they're not, and they're also not listening to their market. Like I've coached a few people recently who have like online fitness coaches as their niche, but they're posting like B-roll footage and just generic content is the right word. And I've fed all this back to them. And I was like, okay, well, first of all, your content isn't going to attract an online fitness coach because you're not showing them your expertise. All you're doing is like talking about strategy and content pillars, which is great, which is things that they need to know. But as an online fitness coach, their ultimate thing is to save themselves time because they can all create content and they're all quite creative and they know what they need to say, but they don't have time. They need to be creating content like James Smith or Courtney Black, for example. What do? They have unreal talking videos where they're edited very well, and essentially they need somebody who can edit quite well and fit and take content for them quite well, and then come to them with ideas and strategies for sales.
So they're different.
So that they stand out.
I love that though, what you just said there, that how often are you actually looking at what your ideal client generally wants and like how they consume information.
Exactly.
Rather than just mimicking everyone else online because that's what you think is going to make you successful.
Exactly. Like we have a coach who's not a UGC coach, so she coaches other UGC creators. And one of the reels that I'd scripted for her was about, whatever it was about. And she filmed it and it was great. And I got Lauren to edit it down. And I was like, and everything comes to me for approval. And like I said, like Lauren's new. And I was watching it and I was like, it's not good enough. Like it's boring. I'm not entertained. I said to Lauren, I was like, I need you to edit it like this. I was like, I don't care how long it takes. Go and work it out. There's so many videos on YouTube to learn how to edit like this. I need sound effects. I need things cropping up. I need information everywhere. And I just needed things popping up everywhere. And then she sent it back to me, and I was like, I'm hooked. I'm entertained.
That's good that you've done that work before sending it to your client. I think that's so good.
Yeah.
Because most people wouldn't, because they'd be lazy.
Yeah, and I just think, well, that's what makes attention to detail, and also.
But that's why your client producers don't leave.
Yeah, we do have a very high a long-term retention rate, which is great. But I think like if her ideal client are creators, they're creative, so they're obviously going to look at her and think, oh, I wish I could create content.
I feel like
that.
no one really thinks like that. Like if the fitness coach example was doing back-to-back carousels, they probably like their audience wouldn't look at back-to-back carousels. They would look at these like cool reels of how like this nut is worth 100 calories and that chocolate bar is worth like double. And it's like how your audience almost consumes your information and how much you think about that. I love that. Okay, one last question. What's like a huge social media trend that you're seeing? And going into 2025, how do you think like the algorithm's going to change?
I think that B-roll is dying a slow death.
Oh,
I know.
What do you think's coming out instead?
I don't think that something's going to replace it. I think
dying a slow death.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it's. I just don't think that it's hitting the mark like it did.
I think.
However, I don't think it'll disappear.
No,
because
it's more savvy.
Easy.
I think
it's too easy to create, so it will never go anywhere. I just don't think that it hits the same.
Oh, what's going to replace it?
I think talking videos are back. I really do.
What sort of talking? Like, how long do you think is a good amount for someone listening to this and they're going to start doing talking videos?
I think I get bored still over a minute.
So under a minute, talking videos.
Under a minute.
Do you think it matters?
This is my personal opinion. From being a strategist, I think if you've got something to say, you could get the point across in a minute. Otherwise, you're just waffling.
Do you think it matters how good the editing is of it, or not?
No, I think it depends what industry you're in. So if your niche is like the beauty industry, I don't think that they personally would be like, this is boring, if the hook was strong enough and it hooked them in.
Yeah.
Whereas like us social media managers, creators, we're quite creative. That sort of stuff would hook us in as well and be like, how have they edited that?
Yeah.
That's so good. Look, what lighting they've got. We're that specific,
I
whereas
think,
they're not.
And that is what's catching people's attention. Like even for coaches, I think it depends on what industry you're in, but it's that when you've got to make someone think twice about, oh, how have you just done that? Like how have you edited that? I feel like that brand that you're building based on your creativeness is what is people. That is what. Hang on. Is what is catching people's attention. So let's say there's like 5 mindset coaches and you're trying to get something across. If you're so like if design's not your like go-to, or if your creativeness isn't the top of your game, like actually have a think about it or hire it out, how creative you can get on saying like that one message across. Because I am starting to see every coach online sound the same, look the same, do the same. The ones that like come out of nowhere with this like big bang of the way that they've positioned their reel or done it are the ones that I see grabbing attention faster.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's important. Okay, well, thanks so much for coming on. And what's going on in your world, and where can everyone find you?
Well, I've just launched my brand new podcast, the CEO House Podcast.
I was going to say, does it have a name yet?
Snaps.
Yeah,
so it's called the CEO House Podcast, which
that.
is like in what's the right word? Like it's a brand in its own, because we've got the CEO House Mastermind and the CEO House Podcast. It's everything to do with like being a CEO, which is
I love that.
One of my favourite things.
And it's strategies on there.
It's strategies. So it's all about content. It's all about strategies, and it's more. I'd say I've got 3 pillars. There's strategy, there's content, and then there's like thought leadership. So it's behind the scenes. It's what's going on in my world.
So it's kind of everything we spoke about today, but on steroids.
Yeah, and
so
everything else. It's like micro. Everything that we've spoken about today, but in its own micro episode.
I love that. So if you've liked today, go and check. Where can I find that? On your Instagram? Or just type it into Spotify?
Just type it in Spotify, Apple Podcast, or you can find me on Instagram at It's Ellie Hudson.
Thank you so much for coming on, and I will see everyone in the next episode.